Alright, so aren't you just tired of raid farm designs where like Ravagers fall over the edge, or it takes about 10 minutes to do one raid, or maybe, the build is just really big, you just can't do it? Well, don't worry, I have made a crazy raid farm today that can be used either automatic or manual. Kills mobs really fast, gets you a ton of drops, I mean a lot of drops. And it's the most simplest design, and it uses, the most like recent tech that I've actually learned, that makes sure no Ravagers drop over the edge. That's just an example. And it uses all that stuff. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section. I'll tell you how the farm works after I've shown you the design. First, I'll show you how to design it normally. Then I'll show you how to use it. Discord notification, alright? And then I'll show you any stuff you can do to change the farm to make it fully automatic, where all you need to do is drink the bottle. And it's not a massive hard design where you need 52 auto clickers and an armor stand for it to work. It works perfectly fine. Alright, so here are the materials. For this farm, you'll need 6 stacks of solid blocks. These can be any types of stone blocks, it doesn't really matter. Cobblestone, smooth stone, regular stone, it doesn't matter. Then you'll need another 2 stacks of temporary blocks. These temporary blocks can be the exact same as your regular blocks, so it can be cobblestone and stone again. Just make sure you remember which ones are which. Then you'll need all the other required items on screen. A best sword possible is required. A soul campfire is also necessary if you want the farm to be automatic. The slabs, once again, can be any material as long as they are a good stone material. The first step is to set your render distance to 5 chunks and find an ocean. When you look around in this ocean, there should be no land. Next, I recommend finding a piece of kelp like this, where it's just tall enough that if you place a block on top, it'll reach the surface, just like that. Not above, not any below like that, just perfect. If you don't have this, it's fine. Just find a place in your chunk, build up your tent blocks, and then place a block on top like that. Once you're on your block, find east. East can be found using the F3 menu and looking right here, or if you've got a little thing in the top corner like I do, or anywhere on your screen, you can easily find the compass point. I may refer to this multiple times. After you place your first block, place and face east and place another 2. Then from the second block, look north and place another one. On these 2 blocks, the first 2 that you placed, place buttons. On the farthest block, the one in front, place a hopper going in to that block. Now place a temporary block on top of the hopper by crouching and placing, and surround it with regular blocks, apart from the block closest to the button. Now jump on top of the hopper, crouch, jump, place a slab, and make it a full circle. You can place a temporary block in the middle and place one on the outside, like that. Now you need to extend this up by 23 layers. By doing this, I recommend going 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and so on until you make it up 23. 22, 22, 22, 22, 23, 23, 23, and 23. Now you've got them 23 layers, stand on this block, which should be the block when facing east that is on the left. As you can see, the button all the way down there. Now face towards that button and place a block here, facing west. Now going off this block, place 3 more. And do the same on the row next to it. However, on the row next to it, place 1 more block. Once you've extended this one out 1 further, come over to this block. Once you're at this block, build 4 blocks further forward. Now place blocks in a pattern like I do. One this side of it, and then another one straight behind. Now place 5 more blocks. Then complete this square. This should end up being a weird type pattern like this. Now fill in the farm. Once it's filled in, it should look like this. Now copy exactly as I do. Come to this side, the side that kind of looks like an arrow opposite of the dropshoot. Then build it up 2 blocks. And on this side of it as well. But only for one little bit on this side. It should altogether look like this. You can use your water bucket or temporary blocks to climb up here, or just break the block and replace it. Then once up here, extend everything out by 1. The farm should look like this. Once you've done this, extend it out another layer, but only on this side, as I do. This corner block over here is not required, so you can break it. Extend it out by another 2 layers, as I do. The farm should now look like this. Okay, don't get angry, but extend it out by 1 more layer. I know, I have to keep looking at the schematic to find out what to do, so I'm sorry if it's confusing. The farm should now look like this. Now come to this side of the farm. It's opposite the drop chute, and it's 3 blocks towards the end like this, and place 3 blocks on the outside. Now stand exactly where I am standing to make it much easier to build the farm. You see there should be this lower down area and this higher up area. Straight from the higher up area, count 1, 2 and then place a block. It doesn't matter whereabouts you do this, as you need to do it all the way down as I am doing. And this should make a line of blocks like this. Now jump to the other side and extend that line till it's 1 higher. Now do this all the way around. Jump on top and make it match the same height. Then make it 1 block even higher. Next, get your slabs, crouch and place them all in the bottom. Now get your 2 lava buckets. As you can see, the drop chute is over there, then there's this part, and then there's this back corner. Place your first one in that back corner. Then, as you can see, the drop chute is over there, and it's completely diagonal to that first lava bucket. Place your second lava bucket. Now you can drop down safely onto this part of the farm. Now you should be on this part of the farm, with the lava in the room right next to you. Come to the opposite side of the drop tube, right here, on this 3 long platform. Place 3 more blocks on the outside of it, then on this block, which should be in the middle, place 1 block outside of it. Now, as this is a basis for the walls, build them up 4 blocks. The farm should now look like this. Place these blocks all the way around and some extras as I do. Do not place any more on this part of the farm. Do not place any more over here. Now, once you're down here, you're going to make this entire perimeter and fill it all the way to the top with the blocks. These walls should match the height of the other walls that you previously created. Do this all the way around. Once you've created your entire perimeter, the farm should look like this. The drop chamber with this little column, and then this little tick shaped platform. Behind it, the lava, and these 2 blocks should be sticking up, but none of these should be. Now grab your slabs and slab all of the top part of the wall. Make sure every part of the wall is covered, or else the raiders may spawn outside of the farm. The farm should then look like this. Now come down into this part with the drop chute. Do not fall down. Now break these 2 blocks right here. With your temporary blocks, then build 1 block out. Now break this block above your head and block up 1 more with the temporary blocks. Now block out 2 more blocks. Now we're going to run to this very far back block, aim at the back of this second block and place an observer. Now jump onto the observer, break all the temporary blocks. Make sure you do this to avoid any mobs spawning outside the farm. Now place another observer here, on top of the other one. If you've done this correctly, it should be constantly flashing. Now grab your slabs, jump and place them both on top of the observers, as I have done right there. Now fill in the hole apart from the one facing the observer. Then place a piston. It should be constantly pushing in and out like that. If you want to stop it for now, you can break it. Just be careful not to break an observer. This piston can be placed back later, and I will remind you of this if you don't want to place it now. Next, get your signs and place them in this exact pattern. One above the observer, one to the left of it, one to the right of it, and one even further to the right. Now place another sign above that block. Nothing needs to be written on these signs, they just need to be placed. Now crouch and place another one there, and another one there, and another one there. You should now have 3. Ignore the A's and D's, these are from my keybinds. Crouch, place another one there, and place another one there. Finally, crouch and place one more sign here. Now, on the same block that this sign leads to, place one above it. The farm should look like this now. It's a bit confusing, but make sure you get them all down correctly. Now, use your temporary blocks to climb up to, at any point in this farm, and place the lava in this corner, above the drop chute. Now break the temporary blocks. If you've done it correctly, the lava should not float over the signs. Now, turn around and place your water in the opposite corner. You can use a temporary block to not fall into the drop chute, but make sure you break it straight after. Now, if you broke your piston and place one down, then in order to leave the farm, place water here. Make sure it's not here or else it'll flow into the farm. Then go down the water and block it up above your head. But make sure to break that block. Now you can break this block here, crouch, jump, and you should be out of the farm. Make sure to replace this block. Now place a slab next to that block like this. This slab should be right above your head. Then go here and break that block. Now with your temporary blocks, place them like I do. And place a chest in this little gap you have created. Then you can break the temporary blocks. Now go into the water and place a hopper facing into this chest. You will need to crouch to make sure you don't open it. This system should now look like this. A block there, a hopper leading into another hopper that leads into a chest that you can open. From this block, build up 13 temporary blocks. Now place a block behind it, or west, and place the bed on top. Now with your real blocks coming off of the bed, or placed right here, place 1, 2, 3. Repeat this around all the walls. However, you must make sure that a job site block is inside one of the walls. For this, I used a composter. This can very simply be done. Just place a block there, place some smooth stone right there, or your main block. Break the temporary block, and then place the composter here. Now, place your regular blocks on top of it, as usual. The design should now look like this. On this side, there should be 6 blocks, one of which is a composter. In the middle block, if it's not in the middle block and it's in one of the lower blocks, the farm will not work. Make sure the bed is right at the bottom. 3 blocks here, and 3 more blocks here, with temporary blocks underneath it. Now place a torch on this exact block. Now with your temporary blocks, build a decently large platform. It doesn't really matter how big this platform can be, it's completely up to you. It's just so we can get the villager on it as safe as possible. This should be big enough for me. Now use your water to get down. You can put it on there like that and go down. You need to break these temporary blocks on your way down. You can do this by placing another block or another temporary block and starting to break them all, then collecting your water or just destroying it. And then continuing to break down the temporary blocks. If you don't have any water, that's fine. Jump down, collect some, and use it to get back up, and then do as I just showed. Now you need to get a villager to the ocean right here, right underneath where you made this platform for the villager to get on. You can also break this block below. As you can see, I have got a villager right here. Place your villager a bit far away from the farm and not underneath the platform as I've done here. Now use your temporary blocks to block out to the villager. Now connect the boat to a lead by crouching and pressing the lead. Now as you build up, the boat should come with you. Build up till you get above the height of the platform. Once you're slightly above the height, or the boat is just around that height, you can build out towards the platform. Then all you have to do is disconnect the lead, or just jump off these temporary blocks. Once you disconnect the lead, the villager should get the job. Now, break the boat. Be careful not to hit the villager. If you do accidentally hit the villager, this is perfectly fine. Just make sure he gets in the hole safely. Once your villager is in the hole, break all of the temporary blocks. You can use water to get back up to these ones later. Then, once all the temporary blocks in the area are broken, place slabs on top of all these blocks. Then, one on top of the torch, and one in the hole. Once you're back near these temporary blocks, you can now break all of them safely. It is very important to make sure all the temporary blocks are broken, as if they are not spawn proofed, pillagers will spawn on them. Once all temporary blocks are broken and the villager is safely in there, the farm is now complete, but make sure to keep listening because there's a lot more information you need to know about this farm before you can start using it. First of all, this is in manual mode as there is a slab right here. I will show you how to make it good in automatic mode later, but right now if you don't care and just want to get it started, use a soul campfire there instead. The campfire, if it is not soul, witches may not die on the campfire, so make sure it's a blue flame soul campfire. Using automatic mode, once again, you won't get as many emeralds, gunpowder or redstone or anything like that, but however you will get a lot of totems. The automatic mode can be made better later on, which I will show you. Right now I'll give a quick overview on how to use the farm, even in manual mode. First of all, make sure you're standing on this furthest back block. This is so you don't pick up any of the unwanted mob drops. Then drink an ominous bottle. This can be of any level. Now you will see the timer pop up somewhere. If you don't, it'll be in your inventory somewhere. And just wait for the timer to finish counting down and the raid bar to fill up. You should hear the horn and the raid will have started. Now the raiders will begin to fall down. They won't die to fall damage, so I recommend you use a good sword, such as this one, with at least sharpness 5, sweeping edge 3 and looting 3. If you want to get the most loot possible, prefer looting 3. If you want to do as high damage as possible to kill them, use sharpness 5. If you want to kill as many as possible in one hit, use sweeping edge 3. This works greatly with mending, as mending will heal your sword as you pick up the XP. None of this is required though, you can just use your fist if required. Wait for the raid bar to fill up again and keep hitting them and using it. At some point ravagers will spawn. Once this happens, the raid may take a little bit longer to end. If the pillagers take a while to drop down, do not worry about this. They will all drop down and all die at some point. Some waves may take upwards of 3 minutes. Witches can use regeneration potions, on themselves and on other raiders, so if you don't one hit them, that's why. This is why sharpness 5 is definitely preferred. As you can see, pillagers are dropping down at many different rates. This is perfectly fine, as they just happen to drop down at different rates every time. If you wish, you can wait for all the raiders to pile up before you start hitting. If you accidentally collect any of the rewards, step a bit further back and just place them in the chest. These are the rewards I've already got from this raid, and it is not over yet. My difficulty, by the way, is on hard mode. The harder the difficulty, the more totems and rewards you will get. You can drink any level ominous potion and you can have your game on any difficulty apart from peaceful, and the farm will always work. If they are dying to fall damage, this is just because they've accidentally touched the lava above and taken a bit of damage beforehand. This is perfectly fine, don't worry about this. If you have a sword, you should still be able to do decently high damage to them. As you can see, that witch drank a regeneration potion as I didn't hit it fast enough. So you will need to make sure you can keep hitting. If you want, you can use an auto clicker to click once every few seconds once the attack bar has fully finished. Then once the raid is over, you can claim your rewards from the chest. As you can see, I got 6 totems from this, plus a stack and a bit of redstone, almost a stack of emeralds, and a lot of other miscellaneous stuff. Gunpowder will come very fast if you keep doing this. You can further expand your storage system if you wish to. Just place a hopper underneath the chest, and underneath that hopper place another chest and a chest next to it. This means that items will begin to funnel in to the lower chest. If you want to link this up with an auto storage system, feel free. I might make my own at some point, but there are many perfect designs online. This can be continued down as far as you want, just keep placing chests and hoppers. This works greatly with an ominous bottle farm, as it allows you to get many ominous bottles very fast, as you only get ominous bottles from taking out raid captains or pillager captains, which don't spawn too often in a raid. Once again, I might make my own design later on, but as of right now, I don't really know. Now I've shown you how you can use the farm, I'll show you how to optimize it for automatic. First of all, you should break this slab and replace it with a soul campfire. This means that any pillagers that drop down will instantly die. Next, grab some glass. Now, you should box up your entire platform with the glass. You can use a temporary block so you don't break it. If you don't use glass, make sure you place a slab on top of this final block, as raiders may spawn on it if not. And do this all the way around. Glass is not required in these corners if you don't wish. Just make sure you're in the farm when you block it up. This temporary block is also not required. Now once you're in here, no mobs from the outside can damage you. You also don't need to swing your sword for this. You can simply leave the farm by breaking some of the glass. If you want to further optimize this to make sure there are absolutely no problems, you can place more signs on top. This will stop the lava from flowing even further. Just place one next to this one, and another, then another one next to this one, and another one. This will mean that Ravagers die significantly slower as they have to hit the lava, which may take longer, but this means that Witches and other raiders will have less chance of hitting the fire, which means Witches will throw less fire resistance. However, I'm pretty sure that soul campfires at the bottom of the raid farm will stop them from taking any fire resistance, like saving them, so keep these broken in my opinion. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. That's really the only optimizations I've come up for the automatic version of the raid farm. Just make sure you place glass on top of the temporary blocks, as they cannot spawn on top of glass. Now, as last time, push yourself back into the glass as far as possible and drink an ominous bottle. You can sit here and just AFK the entire time. You won't get hungry as you're just sat AFKing. Seeing as though you're not using your looting sword, you will get significantly less emeralds, gunpowder, redstone and more collectible items. However, the same amount of totems will be acquired as the pillagers die. You also won't get any XP, as you are not the one killing the pillagers. As you can see, pillagers drop down and instantly die. I do not get any XP for this. However, items still enter the chest. I've broken some chests, that's why there's items on the floor. It's not from the farm, don't worry. But as you can see, items will begin to funnel into the chest as they are dropped by the pillagers. Evokers will always drop totems, so you can use this for the AFK farm perfectly fine. But as you can see, some stuff is getting dropped. I'll explain more in depth how the farm works after this. The difference between this automated farm and the only other automated farm I could find, which is Raiseworks, is that you have to use the ominous bottle. That's the only manual thing that you have to do, and if you have an auto clicker, you could set it up to click the right click after every raid has ended. This will be a bit finicky with timing, but if you're a bit clear with it, like for instance set it once every 5 minutes, then you can fully AFK this, as long as you have enough ominous bottles. As you can see at the top of the screen, there is a raider remaining, however he will die, don't worry. I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that with the more ominous bottle level you drink, the more hard the raid is, which means the more rewards you will get. As you can see, the raid is now complete. Don't worry about these items on the floor, I made sure they didn't get mixed into the hoppers. As you can see from that, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then another totem. I didn't get any emeralds, but I did get 54 redstone and 10 sticks. These are only really the things that you can take away from this variant of the farm. I highly recommend using manual, as you're only going to be using it really like once or two times at a time, And if you're wanting your emeralds for something like trading, maybe you'll use it 3 or 4 times, which is when you'll be using manual, obviously, because you want more emeralds. If you just want to AFK because you're running low on totems, then this is definitely the version I recommend for you. But if you don't need to AFK it, then use manual version every time, in my opinion. I'll now show you more in depth how the farm actually works. I'll give you a quick overview and then I will show you it in action using spectator mode. First of all, the villager here, he is just at the perfect height to sleep, wake up, walk around and have a job. The torch here makes sure that no mobs can spawn anywhere. They shouldn't be able to anyway, seeing as there's a bed, but it's just in case. And obviously the spawn proofing slabs everywhere are spawn proof from any raiders being able to spawn. This villager is at this perfect height to make sure the raiders spawn where they should spawn, and also so you can start a raid from this exact block. This slab right here is above your head, so you can not die to phantoms or any of the mobs that try spawn like in the air, like nighttime mobs or anything. And there's a slab here as well to make sure that the pillagers don't see you, as if this wasn't here they might not only die to fall damage but see you and start shooting at you. Up here, as I will show in a minute, this farm is designed using pathfinding, so I'll explain this as easy as I can. I'm not redstone genius or anything, like I'm not a Minecraft genius either, so I was kind of new to this as well. I actually discovered this myself, didn't even have to use any YouTube videos, but then I realised, oh yeah, that makes sense as to why that works actually. So once a raid starts, the waves will spawn on this section right here, this only brick section, as no raiders can spawn in water or lava. Then as they all spawn in such a cramped area, they will push each other into the water. Then, as you do in a normal raid, as the pillagers always follow each other if you actually play your own raid, that's how this will work. No pistons required to push them anywhere. They will just fall straight into the water, and then the water will throw them straight into the kill chamber. The Ravagers will hit this lava right here. This piston clock here is used as pillagers sometimes get stuck trying to come through. So when they're stuck trying to get like into the hole, the piston will push the ones on that block out of the way to allow other like pillagers to get through first. This means that they drop down the chute faster, meaning each raid can be as fast as possible. This wall of lava on the outside, it had to be behind a wall so no regular pillagers could spawn in and just die instantly on the lava and then not drop their reward down the drop chute. This is because sometimes the Ravagers can spawn a bit weird and glitch through the wall, so once they do this, the lava here will instantly kill them and not let them go anywhere. The other two problems I had with raid farms, or well, other few problems, was that not only were they really complicated to build and required a lot of materials, which is the problem with the Razeworks farm, you also had to have some like insane like auto clicker or something. For my farm, you just don't need that at all. It would be better if you had it, but it's not needed at all. It can still be used fully automatic and manual. Another problem was speed. The other raid farms just weren't fast enough. Mine just seems to instantly drop all the pillagers down into the hole and kill the Ravagers as fast as possible. Each raid lasts about 1 minute 30 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on how fast the raiders decide to die and how much your bad element level is at. I'd say it's an average of about 2 minutes and 30 seconds per raid though. My final problem was that it just didn't work, as the Ravagers would always fall out, and that's why I purposefully implemented this lava system in place, so that the Ravagers just can't fall out. Because you know, as this is the only place they can spawn, the only other place they can fall out is right here. But if you did it east, as I was saying before, like the compass directions correctly, they should only spawn on these few blocks right here. They might push each other into the corner, which is why we got them corner blocks. As if we didn't, the pillagers might push each other outside, and you need more lava back here. Which I felt like it'd be easy to place 6 more blocks than to place more lava. So yeah, and then they just all fall in here and die. Anyway, that's about it for the logistics of the farm. If you have any questions, put them in the description. I will now do a raid, and I'll show you what it's like. Let me turn up the tick speed. Tick rate 50. Just need to wait for the raid to start. Yeah, my skin is Jonesy from Fortnite. Crazy. I'll just clear out this chest. Okay. I'll replace this with the soul campfire. I'll try to. Oh. Bruh. There's quite a lot of them. I was just trying to drop all the rewards so I could show you what rewards I actually get. Alright. I will now, oops, go into spectator mode. So, as you can see up here, the raiders all spawn in, they instantly run off there. This piston pushes any of them, I'll show hitboxes. So they can all fall down there, and then if it's automatic, as it is, they just instantly die. Let's wait for another one to start. As you can see, the Ravager there glitched through the wall. Oops, sorry about that. As it got pushed by its other fellow pillagers. It did escape there, but that's perfectly fine because it will just run straight towards that lava and die again due to the pathfinding running it towards its friends. That is a rare occurrence, but it does happen. That's why that lava is there. That's one of the problems I and you probably had with other raid farms, which is a problem that mine fixes. Thankfully. As you can see, many pillagers spawned. The witches stay back, but then they run straight in there. Excuse me, they run straight in there to give the regeneration to the allies. This wave where it spawns a lot of the tiny ones is kind of hard for them to get down, especially with the fast moving piston, but they do end up dropping down at some point. This means each wave only takes upwards of about 30 seconds, if that's even a long time for the wave. I'd say like 10 to 15 seconds per wave. Which is why I personally think this is the best raid farm design you could possibly build, because Razeworks is really good for automatic one. As you can see, Ravager there going in the lava. Razeworks is a really fast and easy design. Well, not easy, but like if you follow the tutorial, it's pretty easy. But it can get a bit confusing on how to use and also to gather all the materials. For instance, you need a beacon, which in my hardcore build I just didn't have yet. So I had to build an entire gold farm to get a beacon, which I was going to do anyway. But and then I just thought this farm is just going to be so tedious to use. Like I'm not going to use all these auto clickers. I'm just going to find an easier one to use because I personally prefer manual. As you can see, they're all getting pushed down, even the evokers. I personally prefer manual farms over automatic ones, as you can use looting 3. I know in Razeworks farm you could use your looting 3 sword anyway, but it still had all the auto clickers and the really hard design, so I just did not want to do all that. Oh, sorry about that. I just hit my mic if you heard that. Sorry about that. There's multiple Ravagers in there, if you can't already tell. They just all spawn in one place, the only place that they can spawn. This is inspired by a Bedrock Edition design. Basically, the Bedrock Edition design for raid farms is actually better than Java, as you can not only have a Trident Killer to make sure it's fully AFK, and you just need to have looting on your sword, and then you can just kill them all instantly. I won't explain how Trident Killers work now, but trust me, they do work pretty well. Yeah, and then you can use that to just fully AFK, apart from drinking the ominous bottle. And then the raiders can all spawn in water on Java Edition, and not Java Edition, sorry. The raiders can all spawn in water in Bedrock Edition, so my plan was originally to make it so they spawn in the water and flow down just like Bedrock Edition, but on this version they can't. So I just put some blocks here and realised they all run that way anyway, so I'll use that design. Anyway, that is the design for the raid farm. That's how it works. If you have any more questions, put it in the comments. I'll show you the rewards. I'm sorry about that. Just turn off hitboxes. There you go. Okay, well that's great. Just go check my inventory. No, that's 7 totems. I think you can get upwards of, like, at most 7 totems per raid. I wasn't using looting, but 3 emeralds, sharp 1 axe. Oh, I used looting for that first one. So if it's just automatic, then that's what you're gonna get. Which is why, once again, I strongly recommend not using automatic, but it is all a matter of preference. Anyway, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching this design. I'll probably make an ominous bottle farm at some point, seeing as though all the other ones I found are pretty bad. I'll just test a few more out, I guess. Like, if they're that bad, then I'll make my own, but if they work, then I'm just not going to bother making one. And if I find a good one that actually works really well, I'll leave a link to it in the description. Alright, with that, thanks for watching. Have any problems, don't worry. Just tell me in the comments. I should be able to fix all your problems, seeing as though I know inside and out how this farm works. Just make sure you've done the build all correctly, and you should be alright. Alright, thank you for watching, and goodbye.